welcome to the Cinfully Simple Kitchen. I'm Cindy, and I keep saying I'm a dump cook. I'm one of those people that just dump stuff in, and I don't measure, I don't really pay attention. In fact, that's the hardest part of food blogging for me, is actually coming up with the specific measurements to actually give to people who need to measure. So today is going to be a perfect experiment in dump cooking for all of us. We are going to be making what we call cowboy chili, and we call it cowboy chili because here in Colorado, we also have red chili and we have green chili, and those are typically made with green chilies and or ancho chilies that we find here in Colorado and in our neighboring New Mexico. So we have to distinguish this one by calling it cowboy chili, and today's is actually going to be buffalo cowboy chili because we'll be using buffalo meat or bison, which if you can't find this in your state, that's totally okay. You could always substitute a lean ground beef, you could substitute turkey, ground turkey, whatever works for you. But we love the taste of ground bison, and it's actually a really good for you red meat. So as good for you as red meats go anyway. And so the other thing that always is a main ingredient in any of my cowboy chili is beer. And today we are sampling a local favorite, New Belgium Breweries 1554. It's a black lager. We love it. And so we have to start out by actually trying the beer. So I'm going to open up one for my great camera person there, double portions. And I'm going to open up one for myself, and this is how we actually start the process of cooking cowboy chili. Cheers. Man, that's good beer.
Ooh, that's nice.
So this is actually a dark lager, nice and smooth finish, a little bit, it's got just a little bit of sort of maltiness to it, nuttiness. It'll make our cowboy chili taste awesome. Now you notice I have a vast array of canned goods in front of me here. I love making chili this way because it's super easy and fast, and you don't have to put a whole lot of thought into it. I actually have extra cans because I'm not exactly sure how much my crock pot's gonna hold, and I pretty much stop dumping when my crock pot's full. So we may have to open up a few cans here and there. And I've got my handy little spoon that I actually got from #CansGetYouCooking on Twitter, from a Twitter chat. I got a cool little prize package. It was awesome. I will work for food and kitchen gadgets. So we're going to start out with just some diced red tomatoes, and these are fire roasted. We like the fire roasted. If you don't, it's fine, you can use plain. So I'm going to start out with 2 cans of these because that's going to form the base of our chili. So 2 cans of diced red tomatoes, and then you're going to love this. I don't even cook my meat before I put it in. This ground bison is thawed and fresh and ready to go, and I'm just going to open it up and I'm going to dump it right in, just like it is, just raw. It's fine. We're going to cook this long enough that this meat is going to get nice and cooked, and as you stir it a couple of times, it'll break up very nicely. So there goes my buffalo right in. And I like my chili to be meat heavy because I'm definitely a carnivore, and so is double portions. And so we're going to put 2 of these babies in. So this is about 2 pounds of ground buffalo or bison. And as I said, you could use your ground turkey or your lean ground meat. So there you go. There's my bison right in the pot with the tomatoes. All right. And because the beer is actually a really, really important ingredient in my chili, I'm going to put the bottle of beer in next. And the reason for that is because I don't want my pot to get so full that I forget the beer. So beer's got to go in next. All right. So here's my beer. To make it nice and rich and flavorful. There's my beer. Now, one of my other favorite ingredients for my buffalo chili, because I do like it to have a little bit of spice to it, is I get these New Mexico Hatch green chilies, and these are mild, so they don't have a lot of hotness to them, but they do have a tremendous amount of flavor. And believe it or not, this package is still a little bit frozen. I'm just going to cut the top of my package off here, and once again, I'm just going to dump that in my pot. So now I've got the volume thing working against me, right? So I'm just going to push down my chilies a little bit. I'm going to move around my meat a little bit just to make a little bit of room, because no cowboy chili is complete without a whole bunch of beans. Beans, the wonderful fruit. The more you eat, you know how that is. So make sure you look out after you eat a bowl of this chili. A lot of beans going to be in here. All right, so we're going to get that going. And now we're going to add our beans. So I have a can of white kidney beans, cannellini white kidney beans. I'm going to put those in, liquid and all. It's all good. I also happen to use, I tend to use organic cans when I can get them, because There are some, sometimes they talk about some of the additives that get put in canned goods, and so I always think that if I go organic, that I don't have to worry about that as much. Maybe I'm fooling myself, but I like the taste of the organic as well. So this is just a can of organic red kidney beans, dark red kidney beans that are actually sticking. They're so packed in the can, I can't get them out of here. I'm just gonna use my handy little spoon, pull those out of there. And as you can see, my crock pot's already getting pretty full here. So I think we're probably gonna have just enough for 2 more cans. And as my meat cooks down, it's possible that I'll have a little bit of extra room and I might add more, but remember the crock pot also adds its own water. And so you will wanna make sure that you leave enough room for that. This is a can of pinto beans, and you gotta have pinto beans in Cowboy chili, I'm just saying. And the last can that we have is canned black beans. Black beans are optional, but we kind of like them. And once again, you'll see I've got a lot of moisture happening here. So I'm gonna keep that going just a little bit. Move that around, all right? And I'm gonna probably let this cook down a little bit before I add any of my spices to it. But I will share with you the spices that I'm going to add. I'm going to add some parsley. I do a lot of chopping of my parsley early on, and then I just put it in containers to freeze it. So this is just frozen parsley. We'll just put a bunch of that in there once it cooks down a little bit. We're gonna add some ground cumin. Cumin is really good for adding to the flavor of chili. We're gonna put a little bit of chili powder in, not so much that it's overpowering, but enough to give it that good chili flavor. I'm gonna put in, don't tell, double portions. We're gonna put in some dried minced onion. This is about the only thing I can get away with. And it'll cook down to smithereens, and she'll never know. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of pepper, and I'm gonna put salt to taste. Be careful with the salt. Sometimes the canned goods also contain the salt, so you don't really need to over salt your chili. Just try it out. And then when we're done with this chili, we're gonna let it cook on high for about 4 to 6 hours. Again, you want all of that meat cooked up, and you wanna be able to stir it and get the meat mulched up in there. And then the other thing that we need to make sure, and I'm gonna add this now, is garlic. We really, really want this garlic in here, and we want to add into the flavor, and that's about 4 or 5 toes of garlic. But once this cooks up, the way that we tend to serve this is we put it in a bowl, and we add a little bit of plain, non-fat Greek yogurt on top, kind of subs for sour cream. We put a bunch of cheese on the top. Sometimes we slice up tomatoes on top of it. We also like to slice up a little avocado, and we just dig in. it is so good, you wouldn't believe it. And look at how easy it is. Super, super easy. So try this Cowboy chili and enjoy.